right, thank you for having me here today. It is such an honor to be here with such incredible speakers and such an incredible audience as well. It is bringing back a flood of memories being here, sprinting to get into my seat for Chem 5, thinking about living in Canada F with the Mem church bells going and my roommate kicking my bunk bed because I wasn't waking up with my alarm. It is such a pleasure to be back. And one memory that's coming to mind is actually from my first day here, where one of my roommates said, you know what, my big brother has this small company that just started, this small organization. Maybe we could work for it one summer. It's in the IT space. I had never heard of it. I came to the Science Center to learn how to use my email. They told me about the same company, and that ended up being Google. And so all I want to make with this point is the thought that the ideas that you're thinking about today can be huge. Something that I thought was nothing, obviously, is changing the world, and I think we can do that same thing in the nonprofit sector, in the public interest sector, and everywhere else. So, okay, 10 years ago, junior year, I was studying comparative study of religion. My mom said, what are you going to do with your life? You want to be a nun. Why are we sending you to Harvard? So preparing for being here with all of you today made me think about what are the big ideas that have happened over the last 10 years. We've had so much happen in that time, so many influential people that have joined us, that have left this planet, and so much that can happen. Same thing with my life. You know, again, 2003, I would have never thought that I was going to do the things that I did. And so I just want to say, for those of you that are students right now, hold on to those big ideas. You don't know where it's going to bring you. And it's so cool to be here thinking about what your 10 years coming up are going to look like. So I just ask of you, my number 2 ask, do what you love, and you have no idea, we have no idea where it's going to bring you. It's going to be awesome to see. So the point of really what I want to go with this, when I was a junior, I really became concerned with climate change, the environment, and thinking about this is our future. What are we going to do to help protect it for years to come? Obviously, over the last 10 years, we have seen extreme weather events. We've seen the increase in temperature. As Teresa said, last year was the warmest year in the US. What I've got is warmest temperatures for the entire world. This is in terms of data from recordings when they first began in 1880. Obviously, the planet is changing, and we need to find a way to incorporate it, no matter what we're doing, whether you're in the government sector or beyond, living a sustainable life. So when I went to the bathroom, I saw the coolest accelerator hand dryer that was gifted by the class of 14. You haven't even graduated and you're giving to the school, which I'm very impressed with. So I know with this audience, I don't need to describe this concept. Throughout my career, I found, though, it is helpful talking with other people, as this Venn diagram shows. It's not just about the environment, it's also about the economics, and it's also about the social benefits. In other words, people, profit, and planet, and how we get to that point. For those of you that are interested, and I want to encourage everyone in this room to go into this space, we're obviously going to see so many new changes and a new emphasis on this. President Obama obviously spoke about climate change in his inaugural address. Senator John Kerry just the other day mentioned climate change is a life-threatening issue. It is so exciting to see our elected officials really talking about this, and so excited to see what's going to happen. Just a couple of days ago, a new climate change task force was announced on Capitol Hill. Looking across the country, obviously our cities, our local governments are focused on this. New York City with Hurricane Sandy is going to have to figure out, how do we rebuild, how do we design our cities in a way that are not just reducing our impact on climate change, but also helping us adapt. Philadelphia, a large emphasis on collecting stormwater. This is actually the top of a bus stop. Chicago is also doing a lot in that space in terms of green roofs. One of our speakers talked about open data, another connection within the sustainability space and how we can really help our country move forward. So it was just announced a couple of days ago that Rhode Island is tied for the highest unemployment rate in the country, which is one of the reasons that I have returned to my home state. I am hoping that we are going to become the first state in the country to have an offshore wind farm, and I hope I can come back to you in a couple years when that is completed. One of the things that I loved about Harvard is the amount of resources that we have available here, so I could not end this talk without giving you 2 resources. Together Green is a fellowship. I highly encourage you to apply for it, and Wild Gift. They both give about $10,000 to help you with your projects. My friend Cody, Arkansas, focused on the big idea of sustainability, started a sustainable farm in Arkansas, poorest rural county in the state, and has now just been featured in Forbes magazine as one of the social entrepreneurs of our time to watch. Rhode built a hydroponic greenhouse in New York City, which is much more efficient than the use of land of the same size. Monica, working on cook stove technology in Nigeria, helping with the environment and our health. And one of my dear friends, also a double Harvard graduate, Emily Sadi, focus on the use of biomimicry. Most of us are familiar with it within the design space, but applying it to organizational technology, similar to Barbara's presentation. How do we take our planetary systems and inform our work as well? Those of you coming to the reception, I invite you to find me. I'd love to take your picture, like I've taken pictures of these Miss Americas with Why You Love Being Green. And my final ask for you, I have to share a quote by Edward Abbey. One final paragraph of advice. Do not burn yourselves out. Be as I am, a reluctant enthusiast, a part-time crusader, a half-hearted fanatic. Save the other half for yourselves and your lives for pleasure and adventure. It is not enough to fight for the land. It is even more important to enjoy it while you can, while it's still here. So get out there and hunt and fish and mess around with your friends, ramble out yonder and explore the forests, climb the mountains, bag the peaks, run the rivers, breathe deep of that yet sweet lucid air. So sit quietly for a while and contemplate the precious stillness, the lovely, mysterious, and awesome space. Enjoy yourselves, keep your brain in your head and your head firmly attached to your active body and alive. And I promise you this one sweet victory over our enemies, over those desk-bound men and women with their hearts in a safe deposit box and their eyes hypnotized by desk calculators. I promise you this, you will outlive the bastards. Thank you very much.